What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, check it out, man. So look, nothing proves the brand damage to the Star Wars franchise better than the Skeleton Crew. The Skeleton Crew is the perfect example of it because it's not a terrible show. It's not super offensive. It's not necessarily woke. Nevertheless, nobody's watching it, all right? Worst ratings on Disney Plus, lower than The Acolyte. That's how bad this thing is. Nobody's watching it. People wasn't really going to come and check for this anyway because it's pretty much Goonies in space. That's exactly what you expect. But yeah, it just kind of signals how bad this brand has been damaged. That nobody's really coming to check for even like moderately aight shows. Nobody's coming to watch these joints. And so now when you start thinking of the future, all right, if this is where the brand is at, you know, what does the future look like? Now, we got Andor coming up. I think Andor might get a little better because a lot of people are expecting Andor to be great. They saw the first season. Everybody wants a little bit more. You know, but then right after that, you're going to get Mando and Grogu. So Mando and Grogu, we see the cast here. Pedro Pascal. We got Sigourney Weaver. We don't know what role she's going to play. Jeremy Allen White playing Rada the Hutt. You know, and then this guy, Johnny Coyne, as an Imperial warlord. But now we're starting to hear some information about who else might be in this and what the villain could be. And this is like, whoo. From comicbookmovie.com, The Mandalorian and Grogu's lead villain has been revealed, with Dave Filoni reprising the Clone Wars role. So we going back into the Clone Wars for villains. You guys see the problem we got with Disney Star Wars? They can't create anything new. They can't create new characters, give us new interesting stories or new interesting characters for us to sink our teeth into. We're just going to go back to the Clone Wars because that's all Dave Filoni actually knows. He only knows the Clone Wars, and this is basically where we're going to get our villain. Who is that villain, you ask? Yeah, Embo. Embo to feature as the main villain in Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. This is on the Bespin Bulletin.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you,
we don't care.
This is a straight up nothing burger right here, y'all. This is an absolute straight up nothing burger with cheese, with extra cheese and onions and pickles and everything else. This is the biggest nothing burger you've ever heard of. Embo, I could care less, man. I could care less. But again, Dave Filoni, right? He just keeps dragging shit up from the Clone Wars. That's all he got. Honestly, man, I never would have revealed the villain if this is the villain. I never would have revealed the villain. I never would not let anybody know who the villain is. I would have kept that all the way up under my hat. NDAs across the board. Nobody ever tell anyone who's the villain if it's Yo, we can't let this one leak, y'all. We can't let this one leak. We can't let a leak get out there that the villain is Embo. We just can't do it. And I don't understand like the decisions that get made over there at Lucasfilm. But again, I kind of do because Dave Filoni, man, this got Dave Filoni's name written all over it, don't it? This got his name written all over it, which is really hilarious, man. They could be trying to float this information. Maybe this is why it leaked. They're floating it out there to see how people feel about it. And then everybody's going to laugh at it, clown at it, ridicule it, and just be like, all right, man, look, oh boy, Embo was a bad idea after all. Hey, yeah, you were right, Jon Favreau. Yeah, let's go ahead and just pull the plug and go with like, you know, Hondo or something. You know, we'll make Hondo the villain, you know, or we'll make, what's his name, Moff Gideon, since we already have him in this thing anyway. I thought it was going to be Moff Gideon, to be honest with you. You know, a little old Giancarlo Esposito. They seem like they always go with him anyway when they need, they need some help. Maybe that's still what they're going to do. They're floating this idea out there, seeing what people say. And then once everybody laughs this thing into oblivion, all right, yeah, let's go ahead and just cast, Moff Gideon after all. Because that's what they should have did. And then at least you got a story that maybe people might show up to. Look, I think this thing is going to be a box office bomb regardless. Because I don't think anybody cares about these characters anymore. But now when you add a character that really nobody cares, oh my God, man. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's see what they got to say about it. The Mandalorian and Grogu is one of Lucasfilm's most intriguing and exciting upcoming projects, really. I guess when you have a whole lot of trash as your upcoming projects, yeah, I guess this would qualify as something intriguing and exciting. The movie started life as The Mandalorian Season 4, but similar to Moana 2, Disney CEO Bob Iger decided to shift it from streaming to theaters, making this the first big screen Star Wars story since 2019's Rise of Palpatine. Screen icon Sigourney Weaver has already joined the cast in a mystery role, while the Bear's Jeremy Allen White was recently tapped to play the buff Rada the Hutt. Yeah, see, this is what you do. You set up a whole bunch of mystery roles, and that's where Embo should have stayed. He should have been a mystery role Somebody gets cast. We don't know who it is. But again, if it's Dave Filoni, I guess we got to let everybody know who's doing this thing. There's been no word to who the Mandalorian and Grogu's big bad might be. Though it's not outside the realm of possibility that Moff Gideon will return, especially if the version who died in Season 3 was indeed a clone. The Imperial Shadow Council is also set to appear, but Din Djarin's main foe is reportedly said to be the bounty hunter, Embo. This is according to Christian Harloff. The Clone Wars baddie will be a pretty significant part of the plot, with the movie set to feature him attempting to track down and kill the kidnapped Rada. Crap, man. This sounds like a Clone Wars episode, man. Dave Filoni is a hack. Din and Grogu, meanwhile, have reportedly been hired to rescue him, revealing the movie's main conflict. This is a Clone Wars. This is straight up a Clone Wars episode. That's what this is. Harloff seems confident that Embo is the main baddie in The Mandalorian and Grogu, and confirms that Dave Filoni, yes, that Dave Filoni, will once again lend his voice to the villain. Without jumping to conclusions like Moana 2, it feels like this movie will be similar to Moana 2 in the sense that it's an episode of television expanded into feature format. Here's hoping that there are some surprises and bigger consequences for the wider Star Wars universe. No, there's not. No, there's not. This feels, like they say, this is exactly what Moana 2 is. It's a, maybe, you know, an episode, you know, one-off episode that was somewhere in Mando Season 4, and then they're just going to stretch it into a movie because maybe that was the most exciting episode that season that they wrote in terms of a script. But, I mean, this just sounds like a giant nothing burger. Like, why would I care about this? Disney has no idea what it's doing with this franchise. They don't know what the fans want. That's why the Skeleton Crew, even though the Skeleton Crew is all right, I guess, but it's failing. This thing is going to be a box office bomb. Don't spend a lot of money, Disney. All right. Don't spend a whole lot of money on this one. This one's going to be a flop. Bespin Bulletin adds, Harloff revealed that Rada the Hutt plays a prominent role in the movie, something I mentioned previously, but he thinks the movie is playing a similar storyline out as the Clone Wars, where Rada was kidnapped as a baby and had to be rescued. It's literally an episode of the Clone Wars. This is trash. Man, this is so bad, man. Golly. Harloff believes that Din Djarin and Grogu are hired to rescue Rada, and on the flip side, Embo, the main villain of the story, has been hired to kill Rada the Hutt. Can somebody tell me, why would I care about this? If this is indeed the plot, why would I care about any of this stuff that's going on? If I'm just a regular Star Wars fan, or if I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan, or if I'm a normie, why does any of this excite me? These people don't know what they're doing, man. The details that Harloff has revealed are ones that I too was told, so I can back up his reporting. Not that he needs it. I'll add that I believe that Embo is hired by some Hutts, possibly the two featured in the Book of Boba Fett. I had heard conflicting things on who hired Din. I was told it was the Hutts and hired Din, and another time was the Republic. I don't know which one is correct, but if either, but Zeb does apparently assist Din in his quest at some point, which could point to Din Djarin being hired by the Republic, but that's speculation. Look, now they try. Look, you got Zeb in this. I heard Zeb was going to be in it, but Zeb drops in. It's almost, again, member berries, right? You remember Zeb from Rebels? Remember Embo from Clone Wars? That's what this thing is. Remember Rada the Hutt? This is what this is. This is nothing but member berries. Remember this, remember that. Not interesting. It's just it's a literal Clone Wars episode mixed with Zeb from Rebels. And who else will show up? They'll continue to do this, ladies and gentlemen. Bo-Katan probably going to show up. Sabine probably going to show up. They'll just throw characters into the mix it around like a big pot of goo, and then throw it up on the screen with some special effects. Star Wars, there it go. That's what they're giving us. That's what they're giving us. This is trash. All right. This is trash. Star Wars deserves so much better than these clowns. Yeah, Star Wars Theory posted this up. Apparently, the plot of Mando and Grogu is all about Mando and Grogu rescuing Rada against Embo, who wants to kill Rada. Thoughts? And he's going to put up a video. Of course, we'll be checking that out. Let's see. What do people say? Who the hell is this? Wait a minute. Why does the plot sound so familiar? Because it's an episode of the Clone Wars. All right, that's why. That's exactly why. There seems to be no intelligent signs of intelligent life anyway. Yeah, man. Disney is dead. It absolutely is. This guy just about to walk out the window. That's where we at, man. That's where we at. Wasn't this done already? Yes. What the hell? This is going to be worse than Mando season 3, and I didn't think that was possible. Oh, it's always possible. And it's Disney Star Wars. It's always possible to get worse. All right. Personally, I think it should be about Grumble Snatch saving Zimbalwog from the clutches of Darth Menace. Yeah, all right. Sounds stupid. Literally sounds like shit. That's what Theory says. Yeah. I mean, this sounds terrible, man. They can't help but rehash bad plot lines from their own work, can they? I mean, that's what they're doing, man. This is where George Lucas must just be like, what have I done? Like, what have I done? Like, they are so inept at handling this franchise. So it's just a redux of the Clone Wars episode. It is. All right. This guy said that's not it. I can't believe after everything they've been through, they decided on Embo and Rada. There has to be something bigger at play. Maybe Thrawn hired Embo, and there's a much bigger reason for wanting Rada dead. Maybe Rada works for Thrawn. Look, people are trying to make Disney Star Wars better than what it is. Nah. That's what these cats are doing. That's what these guys are doing. They're just rehashing Clone War episodes, updating it, throwing Mando and Grogu in there, and Zeb, and whoever else, Sigourney Weaver, you know. And there it is. Like, that's what Disney Star Wars has gotten us. That's why the franchise is dead. Brand damage is done. I don't think this thing is going to make any money. Embo is a interesting choice. Character is okay, but as the main villain with this plot, nah. You struck out again, Dave Filoni, man. This guy's a hack and he needs to be fired along with everybody else over there. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. I know what y'all already think, but go ahead, throw it out there. It should be fun, all right? I think this is going to be a giant disaster. This is going to be one of the bigger flops. This might flop worse than Solo. Is this going to flop worse than Solo? I think it just might flop worse than Solo. And that's saying something, because Solo was a huge flop. An absolute monster of a flop. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.